Let's move on to main topic number 2. And our second main topic today gets submitted to us by Clubber T. Lang. And Clubber T. Lang writes, "Hey, John. So Forbes posted their highest paid actors list, and I was surprised to see that Ryan Reynolds was second on the list behind Dwayne Johnson. A lot of his money this year came from Netflix deals. Yes, it did. We'll talk about that in a second. But I have to ask, with $1 billion plus franchise under his belt, and now this, I don't think Ryan has $1 billion franchise under his belt. Anyway, is Ryan Reynolds the second biggest movie star in the world, or are Netflix just grossly overpaying their stars? Thanks." All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, man. And yeah, there was a list just released of all the top paid actors in Hollywood this past year. And no surprise, no duh, once again, Dwayne Johnson tops the list. He is probably the last remnant of a truly bankable star that you know if he's in your movie, that movie is going to make a lot more money than it would have if he was not in it. Just that simple. Like, even if you go back to a movie like Rampage made a decent little amount of money. But if that wasn't Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson starring in it, it would have made nothing, right? So that's that. Is Ryan Reynolds truly the number 2 guy? Well, this is what we get from the folks over at Fox Business who write, "The Canadian star," damn right he's Canadian, "the Canadian star, 43 years old, was reportedly paid $20 million for the movie." We're talking about the movie that he's doing right now called Red Notice with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. They're doing a movie together, the two highest paid guys. Has reportedly paid $20 million. $20 million! And he's not the highest paid guy on that movie. Anyway, $20 million for the movie, and another $20 million he was paid for his other Netflix action heist, 6 Underground, which wasn't that great. Ryan's always great. Good Canadian kid. But the movie itself wasn't all that great. Anyway, the streaming giant announced they are also in negotiations for a third film with the Deadpool star. Altogether, Reynolds pulled in the past year, $71.5 million. $71.5 million. Now, just for fun and perspective, let's go over and take a look at that list, shall we? Because some of them are not going to surprise you. Some of them might be pretty surprising to you. All right, we go over here. Here's the highest paid actors list. Obviously, number 1, no duh, no guff, it's Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He is the number 1 guy, made $87.5 million. He is the true one big Hollywood draw. He's not the best actor in the world, although I argue he's actually gotten pretty good. But he is clearly the power, the charisma, the personality, undeniable. Obviously, he's the number 1 guy. We just talked, of course, Ryan Reynolds is the number 2 guy. A lot of that, more than half of that money just came from Netflix. More than half the money just came from Netflix. Our number 3 guy, not really surprising when you think about it, is Mark Wahlberg. Spencer Confidential, the movie he did for Netflix. Again, Netflix paying out a lot of money. Their 3rd highest viewed original movie ever. So that, plus he did some producing for some stuff on there. This one was surprising. Ben Affleck at number 4, who made $55 million. Again, a lot of that came from Netflix. But he also did The Way Back this year, which he actually got paid a lot for. So Ben Affleck, troubles and all, and I'm a huge Ben fan. Number 4 at $55 million. Number 5, no big surprise here. Vin Diesel was number 5, making $54 million. Number 6, Akshay Kumar, who is, they list the only Bollywood star on the list. Kumar is working on his first television series, The End, for Amazon Prime. Most of his money, though, comes from endorsement deals. He shills for everything from multivitamins to toilet cleaners. So
I hate that word shills. You know what? Too. He's just making a buck. He's making a buck.
He's making money. All right, next
I'll shill for a toilet cleaner, too.
Number 7, again, not that surprising. The guy's really hot right now, Lin-Manuel Miranda. Who made a lot of money with his off sale of everything he's done for Hamilton. Not to mention he's got In the Heights coming, all that kind of stuff. Number 8, Will Smith. He's still one of the top draws. So Will Smith at number 8. Number 9, Adam Sandler. Nobody goes to see Adam Sandler movies, but again, it's all Netflix. Mm-hmm. He's made a lot of money from his Netflix deal. He still has more stuff coming later this year for them. So he's at number 9. And number 10, really, when you think of it globally, it's not that big of a surprise. We got Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan, who writes 6 decades into his career, the martial arts star is as active as ever, making 5 movies this past year. He pads his film income with millions from endorsements and, of course, licensing deals. So there we go. That's the list. Number 2 is Ryan Reynolds. Now, obviously, take everything I say with a grain of salt. That you guys all know Ryan Reynolds is one of my favorite guys in movies. And probably through no small part that he is a good Canadian kid. I also love the fact that his very Twitter handle is a reference to his Canadianness.
What is it?
Vancouver. Van City Reynolds.
Van City Reynolds.
Of course, he's from Vancouver. The wrong coast of Canada, granted, but Canadian nonetheless.
And such a nice guy.
And just simply...
Such a nice guy.
One of the biggest sweetheart guys you will ever meet. He's absolutely fantastic. And by the way, not only does he have, like The Rock, the charisma, the charm, the humor, people underestimate how good of a pure actor he is. There's always two movies I try to point people towards who don't quite get just how good of an actor he is. One is definitely Maybe, which he did with Isla Fisher, one of the Elizabeth Banks, and the woman who's playing Black Widow's mom in the new movie. One of the best actresses in the world, and I'm freezing on her name right now. Anyway.
Cate Blanchett?
No.
Helen Mirren?
Dark hair. Anyway, never mind. So definitely Maybe is fantastic. It's funny, it's charming, it's heartwarming, and he's really great in it acting-wise. But the other movie he did, which I am still appalled that he didn't get a Best Acting nomination at the Academy Awards for, is a movie he is in all by himself called Buried.
Oh, right. You've talked about this.
The entire movie, not most of it, the entire movie takes place inside a wooden box buried underground. That's it. The entire movie, from the moment the camera turns on, is Ryan Reynolds in a box buried underground with a cell phone. And that was the movie to me when I went, holy crap, this guy's amazing. Because he kept me riveted the entire time. He's great. The question, though, is, that gets asked by our viewer is he, though, really the second biggest movie star in the world? There are two ways to look at that and to answer that. The first thing is basically this, what collectors often talk about. Things are worth what people are willing to pay for them, right? You say, how's that comic book isn't worth $500? Hey, if there are people willing to pay $500 for it, then it's worth $500. Ryan Reynolds, is he as good of an actor as Daniel Day-Lewis? Obviously not. Is he as good of an actor as Leonardo DiCaprio? Obviously not. But does his face, being in a movie, attract more attention than it would have if it had not been him being in that movie? He's got this movie coming out. The trailers have already come out for it. I can't even remember the name for it, but he plays a video game avatar. He's a character in a video game, right? And it's like, that movie looks stupid, but because he's in it, I'm really interested.
I mean, you just describing it, Ryan Reynolds as a video game avatar, I'm immediately intrigued. I go, oh yeah, that would be fun. That's fun.
But if I had said, who's the kid from Superbad? If I had said Michael Cera starring in a movie, no offense to Michael Cera.
No offense to Michael Cera.
But that movie's like,
okay.
Ryan Reynolds in it?
Yeah.
Okay, right? I just think there's something like that. So listen, while I think Leo is the better actor, while I think Tom is the bigger star, Ryan Reynolds right now this may be a different conversation 1 year from now, but right now, I would actually say, I don't know that there's another actor that would increase the profile and the overall fan attention to a project with just his face, other than The Rock, than Ryan Reynolds. It feels weird to think of it that way, and I was as surprised as anybody to see he was the number 2 paid guy. Mm-hmm. But I think there is a legitimate argument to be made for it. Aaron, you see Ryan Reynolds listed as number 2 under The Rock. Are you shocked by it? Do you think actually it makes... I don't know. Where's your thought process on that?
In one sense, I'm shocked just because I haven't seen him on these lists before. And usually that's the thing, is these lists are kind of like the usual suspects. We expect to see Will Smith. We expect to see Vin Diesel. We expect to see Dwayne Johnson. I haven't seen Ryan Reynolds as a fixture on these lists. So it was a little bit like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And I think that this is also one of those time will tell situations. Right now, he's really, really hot. He's being paid a ton of money by Netflix. And you're absolutely right. He is a big draw. He's got an incredible, his charisma just oozes out. He has a wonderful reputation. I haven't heard a bad word said about him from anyone in Hollywood or otherwise. And so right now he's really not just having a moment, but it's sort of his moment is sort of extending. And I think that's one of those things that we see as a real movie star. It's not just, are you having a moment, but how long does your moment drag on for? How long are you able to maximize that moment to where it's not a moment, it's just who you are. It's a career. Exactly. Like Will Smith is not having a moment. Tom Cruise didn't have a moment. Like there are just certain people that become part of the zeitgeist of movie stardom that we just accept. We're not there yet for Ryan Reynolds, but if he continues on this trajectory and we see year after year that he is on this Forbes list, then I think that he really will achieve that status. You were mentioning Mark Wahlberg being number 3, Dwayne Johnson being number 1. That's not just money that they are making from their film appearances. Dwayne Johnson has a huge stake in Under Armour. He's also a producer on Ballers. Mark Wahlberg produced McMillions, which is a fantastic and very entertaining documentary.
Really like
yeah, it's really fun. And I'm very excited for the narrative feature that will surely come out of that as well. These are people who are taking their capital as actors and as on-camera talent, and they're leveraging that into producing, which is where the real money and the long-lasting money, because someone like Mark Wahlberg understands what flash in the pan stardom is all about. He sees those lists, he sees people shoot to the top and then are forgotten about 3 years later. He sees people, that go up and down these lists, and people like Mark Wahlberg and The Rock and Vin Diesel, and Will Smith, they understand that real permanence is about investing, producing, and having a stake in projects beyond just being in front of the camera. One of the things about Netflix paying out so much money also is that unlike say a film that's going to do the traditional theater circuit where you have box office returns, etc., and an actor can negotiate for back end points, maybe take a little bit less up front but negotiate for more back end points. That is not something that exists in the Netflix model. Nobody really knows how Netflix makes their money.
Right.
So they have to shell out the big bucks on the front end, which is why we're seeing a lot of these big paydays, because an actor isn't negotiating for back end on these Netflix projects.
It's all upfront stuff. I've never seen a movie where 2 actors in the same movie got 20+ million. I've never seen that before. Maybe we have and I just didn't know about it, but I've never seen a movie where...
Well, what about The Mask?
Jim Carrey?
Jim Carrey and Cameron Diaz.
Cameron Diaz was a complete newcomer.
Wait, that was the one that launched her. Sorry, it was The Mask that got her the next... Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
So I don't know. But
that launched her
these
career.
Are like big... Anyway, question here is, guys... What do you think? I want to know so much that I made that the topic of today's question of the day. So just before we started the show today, I hopped on our community tab. Once again, make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel, guys, and check out the community tab. So we put up the poll in there, and I simply asked, question of the day, Ryan Reynolds is officially the second highest paid actor in Hollywood, just behind Dwayne Johnson. It's pretty much accepted that The Rock is the biggest movie star in the world, but is Ryan Reynolds actually the second biggest? We discussed this and more in today's show. Right now, about 3,700 of you guys have voted. And right now, actually, I'm surprised. There's more people saying yes to this than I thought. 32% of you are saying, yeah, he is the second biggest movie star in the world. 68% of you right now are saying, no, he's not. It's probably somebody else like a Leo or somebody else like that. That's there, guys. I'm going to leave this poll up in our community tab. Again, just subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go check out the various polls and announcements we put up in our community tab there. Make sure you guys stay on top of that. But I want to know what you guys think. Do you think Ryan Reynolds, there could be an argument made that he is legitimately the second biggest movie star in the world? Or maybe you're thinking, nah, come on, guys. There's a few other people that deserve that spot above him, that consideration. What do you guys think? Jump into the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. All right, guys.